and welcome to episode 11 of the SPADS Podcast. Only three of us again. We haven't got... There's not many weeks we get all four of us at the moment. We've been a bit... I was away last week. Smithy was a late substitution.
This week, yeah.
Yeah, this week. He was all for it, and then...
It's winter, isn't it? So
this winter.
He's got a transfer going on, isn't he?
yeah. He's glued to Sky Sports. That's what it is.
He's waiting for the call. Sean Dyche, obviously recently announced at Everton. Obviously, it's going out a couple of days later. Do we think Sean Dyche has the credibility, has the credentials to keep Everton in the Premier League?
No. I don't think...
I wasn't expecting that. No. I wasn't expecting a no, Dave.
I don't think any manager has got the incredible... can keep Everton up. They're down. They are
I wasn't
down.
expecting that either.
Just for those that don't know, Dave is a Liverpool fan.
Everton are down.
But do we...
Is that genuine? You genuinely think they're just stuffed?
I think they are absolutely stuffed.
Wow.
Do we think it's that bad at Everton?
Yeah,
because I mean they haven't
owners.
They're bad players. They haven't got bad players. Like their squad's okay.
Yeah. I think that's where. I think that the fact they are where they are is a massive shock, and the fact that they're something. Obviously, there's so much just down the fitter, isn't there?
Badly in previous, not just the last 18 months previously. They brought a lot of players who have been so-called good players, but nothing. They haven't performed. Klassen wasn't it? I think one of them. They just haven't got...
And they've built up their players to be brilliant players, and they aren't. Calvert-Lewin, this amazing player, and he's just
Calvert-Lewin's had one
good
good season. He's just injured all the time, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're built up
just
to be something great, and
a bit made of glass.
Yeah, he is literally made of glass. But interesting for Everton as well, I don't think their manager... I think their manager appointments have been the problem.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, not necessarily managers, maybe just the amount of managers.
Yeah,
you just can't get anything stable when you're throwing people out the door every 5 seconds.
They haven't been given time to put their stamp on the club. Hang on a minute, we've done crap. Everton are a poor Chelsea.
Okay. But you just got to look at his comments. When he said, I'm going to stand by Frank, a week later he boots him out the door.
Okay, so come on.
Got a clue. He hasn't got a football brain in his head at all. He hasn't got any football nous whatsoever.
And he's not a very good businessman.
Just write the checks and shut up.
No, but coming back onto what you just said then, so you said that they don't give managers the time.
Yep.
Do we think Frank Lampard should have been given more time?
Yeah, because I'd love to see him in the Championship.
But
it would have been nice to see him go down
because you hear that all
up.
the time, though. You hear that all the time. Managers never get the time. Managers get the time, but the second it happens to our team, as soon as it's 5 or 6 games, it's like it's got to get out, get rid of him.
Yeah.
Give everyone else time, but just not people at our club.
Apart from Klopp. Klopp's the only one that's got any credibility.
We'll come on to him in a bit.
You can give Everton managers, he could have given him a lot more time, Lampard, because like Lee said, they would have gone down with him, definitely. And they're definitely going down now, I think.
What, you think they've got more chance of going down with Dyche than they had with Frank Lampard?
No, I just think teams around them are strengthening, whereas they're weakening. They're selling their players.
Yeah.
There's talk of Conor Gallagher possibly going over.
Yeah, but there's talk of him going back to Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace as well. This is being filmed on transfer deadline day, so there's a lot of this is happening at the time.
So we're not really going to talk.
I mean, we'll talk a little bit about transfers, but obviously it'll be old hat by the time this comes out. But so we think Dyche is a better announcement or a better appointment than Frank Lampard. I mean, it's got to be. If you look at his credential, 51 years old. I mean, at Burnley, he was at Burnley for 9.5 seasons.
He's used to relegation battles, isn't he? So
yeah, he gets the best out of people.
He's got previous.
Yeah.
He's got to be better than Frank at that, hasn't he?
So at 9.5 seasons, he actually took over from Eddie Howe at Burnley. Did you know that?
Sorry?
He took over from Eddie Howe at Burnley.
Oh.
I didn't know that. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
No.
So obviously under Burnley, 9.5 seasons. In the Championship, he got him to 11th in the first season. Obviously second in the second season, got promoted up to Premier League, finished 19th, fell back down again, then won the Championship, then was 16th, 7th, 15th, 10th, 17th and 18th as Burnley manager. So he hadn't done bad. Burnley is...
Probably spent about £6 doing that as well.
Well,
but they had a stable side. It wasn't chopping and changing.
Spent about £6.
That's why it was stable. They didn't buy it, didn't sell, didn't do anything. It's just... By the way, you got to play like this for the next 15 years.
But it works, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, it did.
As soon as they started losing your player, they went down.
But I'm really surprised at that point because obviously when we started this podcast, which was during the World Cup, I said that I wanted Dyche for the England manager because I think he's a really good manager. I think it's a really good appointment for him. But I'm surprised he took this job. I thought he was holding out for a big job.
I didn't take it.
Sorry?
It's too risky. But again, if he feels like he can go and do. But you look at the squad, and everyone should be doing better than they are.
Yeah, he could be the person to sort it out. But I just thought he would.
Wait, what are we saying? Top 4?
No. But I thought he was waiting for a big job, and obviously Everton, you could argue, is possibly bigger than Burnley.
Don't upset the Everton fans.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it, but I mean, in recent form, I wouldn't necessarily say they're a bigger club, but the history suggests they are. But he's surely gone into a team or a club that's similar to what it was at Burnley. He's not going to be able to spend any money because they haven't got any money.
But if that's where he feels comfortable, then that's why he's taken the job.
Yeah.
Maybe he works better with no money.
But then you just got to look at, if he does turn it around, just look at Eddie Howe and Newcastle.
Yeah, but that's a different project, don't you think? You can't compare what Newcastle are going
No.
through and whatever.
It is massively different only because the money's involved.
Yeah.
But the opportunity is still there.
Yeah.
And you look at Newcastle.
But if he doesn't do it, then it doesn't matter, does it? Sorry to interrupt you.
That's right.
But if he doesn't and just keeps them up,
just keep
then
interrupting me, yeah?
Yeah, well, you talk shit anyway. Then everyone's going to be happy, aren't they? So it's almost a win-win for him. It doesn't matter. But if they go down, then you can just say, well, I've only had however long.
Yeah.
And we were going down anyway, so...
Yeah, it is a no-lose strategy in terms of that, I suppose. If he goes down, he's not expected to stay up. But I think he's a great manager. I think he will sort out some of the players that's there. What was you going to say, Dave? You've forgotten now, yeah.
I think I was going to say, Lee was talking about, same as sort of Newcastle. Yeah, Newcastle have got a load of money, but they've not gone out and splashed 80 million on this, 80 million on that.
No, but they weren't at a relegation battle, though, when they took on the manager.
They were, but they've done very well. He's got that squad knitted together, performing well. So potentially...
Yeah, they're still not going to spend what Newcastle have spent yet, are they?
No.
But potentially, like you're saying, he's got a squad which are on paper good. Yeah. Can he get them all to play together?
You'd say that squad on paper now is better than what Eddie Howe started with at Newcastle.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
So
yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I'd definitely say he's probably got a better squad there. It's interesting. Obviously, as you did say, they build players up to sell them. Anthony Gordon obviously left under a bit of a cloud, unfortunately, in the end, wasn't it? I mean, he'd been at Everton since he was 11 years old. He's now 21. 45 million to Newcastle. I mean, do we think that's a good signing for Newcastle? Do we think that's good the way he handled it at the end, old Anthony Gordon?
Not good by the way he handled it.
No.
Potentially a good signing for Newcastle. He's got potential.
A good signing for anybody, isn't he? But is that...
He hasn't performed realistically yet in the Premier League, has he?
No.
He's not proven by any stage, is he?
Well, I wrote his stats down here for that. So obviously he's been there since he's 11. So he's now 21 years old. So he's been there for 10. He's been there for 10 years.
Very good maths.
In the first season, he only made 3 appearances. Obviously, a youngster breaking through. In the second season, 35 appearances and 4 goals. So okay, not bad. 2 assists. So again, not great. And then obviously this season, 16 appearances and 3 goals. I mean, it's not. Set the world alight for him, is it?
But has anybody set the world alight at Everton?
No.
He's probably scored more goals than most of the others.
1 in 10 in the second season, and 1 in 4.
But
one in
What you got to look at their league positions when they finished and games won. And
what's interesting though, they've put 10 years into this youngster, given him his first shot and the first sight, and he's run for the hills, and it must be very difficult for and I know it's the nature of the sport, but it must be hard.
But you got to look at Everton as it is at the minute. Would you want to stay there?
No, I suppose Newcastle is definitely the bigger thing.
Are they going to get any signings today? Everyone's going to go, Everton? Nah, I'm all right.
Look at the guy that Spurs signed, going to Everton and hang on a minute, what's going on here? No, I'm going to go to Spurs. Last minute, I think it'll be a bit more stable now with Dyche, wouldn't it? Maybe.
It's probably got more chance.
Do we think he'll attract the big players?
No.
You don't?
I'm not sure Everton, don't matter who they had in charge, would have.
Much they can't afford the big players, can they?
No.
They need to sell a lot of players.
They're too far down to be going anywhere close to big names, etc. at the minute.
So Dyche will get Everton relegated then?
Yes.
I think they've got a chance of staying up.
Liverpool got more chance of winning the league 11.
I hope he does it. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you, Sean.
You're gonna have new manager bounce.
I hope you fail, Sean. Thank you.
New manager bounce, and if he gets them actually doing some work, then the squad's good enough to stay up.
Got Arsenal first game. Could potentially.
If you just put the pass and don't let them score, then that's better than everyone else letting them put 17 past them.
Well, that's very true. If you don't let them score,
that's good. That's
why aren't you a
football manager?
Obvious reasons. I'm too good looking.
So we're saying obviously Everton won't be able to spend much money, but ones that are spending money, We talked about it before. Chelsea.
Wow.
I mean, it's out of control. It's out of control, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, so they're trying to, as we talk at the moment, they're trying to sign, it's Fernandes, isn't it, for 105 million. As we sit the day of the time reporting podcast, it hasn't gone through. The reason it's been is the structure of the deal, Dave. Is that correct?
That's what I've read, yeah.
Could be raising to 115, couldn't it?
Yeah, but why? Why would you raise it to 115 when the buyout clause is 105? Its only reason is because maybe Porto want a different amount of money. Chelsea.
Well, it'll be over the structure, won't it? They'll say we can have it in that structure, but give us an extra 10 million.
Yeah, and the structure at the moment is that obviously Porto want over a certain amount of...
They want 3 payments over 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah, and Chelsea offered 5 payments over 5 years. Yeah. And then there was a new offer that's gone back in apparently at 6:15 this evening, which they're still waiting for the response from, so we don't know what the response is.
But hang on, 10 million is nothing in that sort of money. It is
not to heating engineers. It's not 10 million. It's easy.
Yeah. But no, 10 million extra on 105 is peanuts, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you're going to get it over the course of 5 years, it's another 2 million a year.
If you're going to spend 105 million, not alone just January on a player full stop, then you don't give a monkey.
Something like, wasn't it Chelsea? This transfer window have spent more money than the whole transfer window of the previous winter one.
It's just crazy.
Do we think a transfer limit is a good idea?
What, as in the amount of money can be spent?
Yeah, like per player. Like, do you think, say, 100 million is the top anyone could ever buy for a player?
But do
you think that would work?
No.
Well, no, I think they'll find ways around.
It's very. Is it baseball or American football? They have like a cap, don't they, on players? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could potentially work, but
does that take some of the fun out of football, though?
It does, yeah.
Well, if some of the fun, the fact that we're talking about it now for 105 million for a geezer after they've spent 17 billion pounds already this season.
You just hope.
But does it not just?
They're all shit.
Does it not just ruin it though a bit? Just makes it a bit of a
I've got a theory behind it though.
Fantasy football.
Well, that's what's like. So Chelsea have got a new recruitment team. They've mainly been installed sort of the end of last year, right? They've got a technical director.
They're all blind but know how to write a cheque.
Yeah. So they've got a technical director for global football, a co-director of recruitment and talent, a director of global talent and transfers, and they've got a recruitment specialist. Now, my theory is, you never ask a barber if you need a haircut. If you've got someone looking for recruitment, to justify their jobs, they've almost got to recruit. So it's almost like, well, we better buy someone. Yeah. Otherwise, people are going to start saying, what the hell do you do?
But you can go and find someone a little bit cheaper than 105 million. It's just... it's just like monopoly money, isn't it? Just like,
it's just ruined it, though, isn't it? Do you not think it's ruined the game?
It ruins it if Chelsea go in the league. If they dominate. If they don't, it's
everyone
hilarious.
Comes back fit and suddenly starts becoming a superstar. Then they ain't got open hell's chance.
It's hilarious if it goes wrong for them, though.
It'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Especially if in a couple of seasons they can't afford it because of the FFP. They've, we can spend 15 quid this transfer.
Chelsea will be up for sale again.
Yeah, that's it.
Do we think the signings they're making, do we think it makes Chelsea a better side?
Oh, well, we don't know. They do what Felix done and just gets red card and not seen again for a month. And you don't know.
He wanted a little tour around London, didn't he? Had 3 weeks off. And go have a look
no one knows anything of the players yet, though. All right, a couple of them had good World Cups, but that was the first time we'd really seen them.
Yeah.
You've got to try and knit all these players together.
100%. You can't just...
With a new manager.
Exactly.
That's never dealt with a...
And are these the managers playing?
Really?
Well, that's the. I can't imagine they are. I can't imagine
absolutely
they're players. We talked about.
Imagine Potter going, 110 million. Yeah. Well, yeah, I like him.
I could have brought a whole team player, Brighton.
Yeah, but I suppose it has changed for him, but it's just mind-boggling to think they've practically brought a new team this season.
Yeah,
17 signings, isn't it? This will be the 18th, I think.
Well,
mental.
Yeah. Only if Liverpool could decide one midfielder.
Yeah,
well, maybe they're trying to beat Not Forest.
So a couple of things that are going out at Chelsea. Obviously, it looks like Jorginho's joining Arsenal.
Lazy, doesn't want to move out of London.
Yeah, 12 million. What do we think about that? Now, it's interesting because Merson came out on Sky Sports saying, brilliant piece of business, great, he's this and that.
Let's be honest, anything under 50 million is good business.
Yeah,
but is it good? Is it a good football decision?
Well, what I find interesting is every Arsenal fan I've ever spoke to recently have been Casemiro. God, he's well old, 30. What are you doing buying him for? He's Jorginho, he's brilliant. Great bit of signing that is. But it's like, he's 31.
Yeah.
Like, he's nearly 32.
But it's very 50-50 out there. The Arsenal fans are like, no, don't want him. Get him out of the squad. But he's too slow, blah, 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 blah. But you've got to look at his stats and what he does in the middle of the park. You're 1-0 up. I'd say they've got an injury to one of their fast players and need to hold on to the game. And he's the one you want there.
Yeah, potentially back end of the season, he could be the player to bring in, isn't he?
But he's got plenty of experience. He's won lots of things. But, to me, why would you want to go to another club to go and sit on the bench? Because potentially that's all he's going to do.
But if he's being sold to them under the pretense that he won't be sitting on a bench.
Yeah, but
no, he knows he's not going to play every game.
Even we know he's going to be sitting on the bench, and we're thick.
If he's
right? He's a professional footballer. He knows he's going to be sitting on that bench.
But if he's happy with that now, being at 31 and done everything and won everything, then
but surely Arsenal aren't going to be paying him the same money.
Maybe he's going to be that one footballer that is quite happy to take a pay cut. You never know.
I would just rather sit on my arse and be getting paid 50k more for doing nothing.
But if you
rather than go sit on another bench and do nothing.
Maybe Arsenal haven't got a penalty taker. Maybe that's what they bought him for.
They've got Saka.
Also, he's only had 6 months left on his contract at Chelsea.
Yeah.
So I think that could have formed part of his decision as well. Of course,
if he goes out and gets a bit for another year, then happy days.
Don't get me wrong. Great business for Arsenal.
I think it's exciting.
It's good money, but is he very similar to like when Thiago came to Liverpool? I know he's not going to start, but could slow the game down. But again, Arsenal have got the legs in midfield. Liverpool haven't got the legs in midfield.
I think Arsenal have been very good in the transfer market.
He's a squad player, and he's a squad player.
And that's what they need. My last comment saying they didn't have the squad. They needed more players. Since then, they brought Trossard, the defender, and now him.
It's good business. Trossard, I think, is a good signing. Proven Premier League player. They're light up front. So I think they've been very sensible. The only one I couldn't understand with Arsenal is that the Brighton midfielder that we're paying 70 million for, who's only really had 1.5 good seasons. That's what I thought was a bit crazy.
They didn't get.
Yeah, Casado didn't get. I thought that's the only bit I thought was crazy. 70 million just seemed.
What do you think about Brighton holding on to him, saying no? I think that's.
It's going to be one.
It's so nice to see.
Fair play to him, but is he? Is he then going to perform for him? Is he going to want to play for him still?
Well, I think if he doesn't, I almost think that puts Arsenal off. Yeah. Because I almost think if you're Arteta and you look at it and you think all of a sudden the second he doesn't get his own way, he's going to down tools.
Yeah, he's going to have to perform for himself, isn't he? Otherwise, he's just going to write himself out the market in the summer.
And also, don't think that Arteta would be the one that would like put up with it, kind of thing. Because he's quite demanding, isn't he? He seems to have got a lot out of this Arsenal side. But it's interesting. But I think they've done some good business. Arsenal so far
spent loads of money as well, haven't they? For Arsenal, anyway.
Yeah, well, for seasons they didn't spend money, did they? For the Wenger days, that's the thing, because obviously paying off the stadium, etc., etc. But I actually think they're in a really good position now, Arsenal. They've come through that difficult period.
It's only a couple of years ago they were going to get the owners out,
Yeah.
We're not saying that now.
No. If your team's performing, you're not going to moan about the team.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. But it's nice to see the owners are backing up the good performances with let's stay there.
There's just something good going on at Arsenal at the moment.
There is.
They're in a good thing. It'd be interesting to see if they lose a couple of games, whether they can hold it together. The only risk I think Arteta is a little bit emotional, and I think he potentially makes some rash decisions. And the reason I get this, although he's done very well, was when Arsenal played United in the first game. They were unbeaten at the time when United beat them, and then he made those 3 changes mentally, didn't they? When it was like 1-1, because he was trying to win the game, because at that point they had a 100% record, didn't they? So I do think he's potentially too emotional and might make some rash decisions. But
is that not just
early
management errors?
Potentially, but that's what might. If Arsenal mess it up, I think the only thing to mess it up is if he starts making a bit reckless decisions. He hasn't done so far.
Maybe injuries as well.
Yeah,
maybe
injuries.
But again, if they carry on the way they are with the squad, then they might be all right.
Yeah. So we're getting it, but I think they've done some good business. Liverpool haven't done any business.
We got Gakpo, didn't we?
Yeah, that was sort of the beginning.
But nothing
coming in.
Some happy United fans after that.
As a Liverpool fan, obviously you're desperate for a midfielder. I know Carragher's come out and said he's not, which is just typical. Come out and said he's not disappointed that Liverpool haven't gone because he thinks they're going to go big in the summer. Which obviously we're talking about off air. Jude Bellingham, we obviously think that's pretty much done.
It'd be lovely if he did come.
That's done.
Is one enough?
No. I want to see another another one or two, at least two midfielders coming in. We've got youngsters as in Elliott, Jones, who potentially could be all right, but I think Jones may be a bit weak. But Elliott looks like he's going to be a half decent player. But we need someone who's a lot better. And it's one of the things, I think, just give it. We don't want to jump in and get the wrong player. It's happened before. We brought wrong players, and there's bits in the butt.
Are you surprised they haven't done any business this window, though?
No.
You're not surprised?
No.
Even with the form the way it is, you didn't think they'd go and try and get a loan, something just to freshen the side a little bit?
Again, a loan doesn't always help. You could potentially get a loan and disrupt the whole team.
It's never been a massive forte, those loans, is it?
No.
They like to build a team and stay there.
And we don't, January isn't our sort of time to...
It's not usually anyone's.
No.
It's gone fucking nuts.
I think with Klopp, he likes to get his player early in the summer, gives him a whole pre-season to get him in the fold and get him into the team.
I get that. That works when you're top of the league challenging for the title. But when you're in a situation that Liverpool are in now, do you need a different approach? Because, look at their last 9 games. They've won, in all competitions, they've won 3, drawn 2 and lost 4. Yeah. That's unheard of for Liverpool of recent times, especially under Klopp. And I'm surprised there hasn't been more people calling for his head. I understand why, because everyone likes Klopp. And as a United fan, I do too. I think he's fantastic. But I'm just surprised they haven't done something to freshen up.
Okay, I think it's just January you pay over the odds for a player.
Yeah,
and there's nothing, okay, Jorginho, would he have done anything good for us if we went in for him? Obviously, we didn't because, I don't think he'd suit us.
It's about the age group that you're looking for.
yeah. The only one I read somewhere today.
Fitting well on pension day.
Can't say. Chelsea midfielder.
He's still injured though, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the thing. If he was fit, I would have taken him.
His legs are going though. He's not the Conte he used to be.
He's not, but he's got energy. He will want to run. Maybe help freshen up a little bit. But I just think we need to spend big in the summer.
But what happens if you get club's up for sale?
Yep.
What's happened towards the end of this season, and all of a sudden you get a takeover come up, which could eat into some of that summer transfer market? There's a possibility you go into next year.
It's still in the same position.
Yeah. Then you're in real trouble.
You're not likely to get Champions League next year, are you?
No, I think the only route we've got Champions League is if we
win the Champions League.
And
the Willy Wonka's golden ticket.
Yeah. All right, we've got Real Madrid, but they're 2 legs, but there are 2 legs. You can do anything.
He's going to have to go all out in the Champions League.
And I think that's what he's going to go. I think you'll see I hope, the old style Liverpool back in the Champions League. Lots of energy. Let's go for it.
But where do you see that coming from, apart from just fairy tales? I'm not saying it can't happen because they can do that. But where do you see that coming from Liverpool? What have you seen so far in the last 9 games that makes you think that just because it's against Real Madrid, you're going to go back to the old season? All of a sudden, your midfielders are going to get younger by 6 years and start to run again?
I think, I don't know.
I'm not being funny.
I really don't know.
If you're getting beaten by, no disrespect to Brighton because they're a good side, but they don't press like Real Madrid do.
Well,
Jesus Christ, you're going to be in masses of trouble unless there's something drastically changes.
They
score 3 goals against you in 2 minutes.
But it doesn't matter. You can score 3 goals in 2 minutes. If they can score 3 goals,
you've got no one to put the ball in the back of the net, though.
Wow,
you have. They just can't do it.
They're just all injured as well. But I think they'll be up for it more, and I just hope maybe some of the youngsters might get more of a chance. That Dyche is looking reasonable, likes the yellow card. Has he got the energy? Hopefully he has, and that might transfer to the older players. Hang on a minute, that youngster's showing us what to do. I've got to step up my game. And that could be
I'll tell you what, that is a hope and a dream. That is a wing and a prayer. But what do you think happens for Liverpool if this carries on this season? If this form carries on,
if you don't win the Champions League, you've got no cups, no silverware. You come to summer next year. Is anyone going to want to come to Liverpool?
It all depends.
They'll all just get snapped up by Arsenal and Newcastle.
But again, they get snapped up by Arsenal and Newcastle. Are they going to play? They know.
Well, they man. It doesn't matter. It just means they can't go to Liverpool, so you're still stuffed.
But they know, hang a minute, we've got an old midfield, we need to replace him, we're going to play week in, week out. Whereas we go to Arsenal, they've got a winning midfield, young, we're not going to play week in, week out.
You offer them a load of money, they're still going to go, though.
Where do you think you'll finish this season?
8th.
You think you'll finish 8th?
Yeah.
And is that not a Klopp out?
No.
You don't?
No. How can you, it's one bad season. That's it.
But one bad season's going to turn to 2.
If you can see the future, give me 6 numbers for the Euro Millions. Because you don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
0-1, 2-1, do 1. Okay, so Liverpool, I say, in a tricky spot. Be interesting to see what happens. Smithy wanted us to talk about the FA Cup results. Any real major ones? That obviously mentioned Man City, Arsenal was one obviously last Friday. That was interesting. The Wrexham one was interesting because obviously Ryan Reynolds, the owners of that was a 3-3, bit of a
proper FA Cup.
Yeah, proper
Wasn't
FA
there
Cup.
some controversy in that though?
There was a red card, wasn't there? Which don't really know why it was a red card.
I didn't
But
see it.
I was very busy this weekend.
I think obviously because it's the lower league, there's no VAR.
That's one discussion I had, that it's so unfair that some have got and some haven't.
Yeah.
It's one trophy.
It
but
should be
the FA
an equal
for it.
playing field for everybody. If you haven't got VAR at your ground, no one should be having
But
VAR.
that's the Football
absolutely.
Association.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Playing
it's
their cup, making things difficult.
Yeah, it's a crazy decision. Obviously, Man United 3-1 against Reading.
Paul Ince return.
Paul Ince return. Nothing
His
really to
comment.
talk about. The only big thing to
Man
talk about
United
that is
have
Eriksen
to be
out.
feared again, is what he said.
Yeah. The only thing to talk about for that is Eriksen out for 3 months from an Andy Carroll tackle.
Good old Andy Carroll.
Good old Andy
Did
Carroll.
you see him go in?
I
Like
did-
something out of a wrestling move.
He-
Outrageous.
We've got the new Andy Carroll, Nunes.
He'll be better than Andy
He looks
Carroll.
a bit like Andy Carroll as well.
A donkey up front, can't hit the target.
He will. It'll come good news. Got the Carabao Cup. Newcastle versus Southampton. That's tonight. Newcastle 1-0 up on aggregate. That'll be underway tonight. And then Manchester United versus Forest tomorrow. 3-0 aggregate. Coming up for this weekend. Some interesting games this weekend. Chelsea Fulham.
Ooh,
Good
over
game.
Derby, yeah.
What do we think with that? What do we think? Chelsea Fulham. Do we think?
Chelsea got a couple of players back, haven't they?
Yeah, and obviously they got this bounce of new players coming in.
This bounce of being skin.
Welcome to our world.
It's going to be a tough game for Fulham, though. I think Chelsea will be buzzing and
Yeah, but then Fulham.
They're there or thereabouts, Chelsea, aren't they? They just need a couple of good games, and I reckon they'll be.
Again, I think they're missing James and Chilwell, aren't they?
They've been missing players. They've signed 17.
Yeah, but they're missing their wing backs. The outlets in the game and stuff like that. I think once they get back, they'll be a force.
yeah, they're only down to 43 players now. So
They can't decide who to pick. That's why.
Everton versus Arsenal. So that's an interesting game. Obviously, Everton at home. Sean Dyche in. Do we think there'll be a new manager bounce there? Do we think Dyche will be able to pull it off at Arsenal?
But it depends how hard he works them. So they might just be knackered because he's made them sweat and work for once.
I think he's got a chance. But I think Arsenal will win this.
Everyone's got a chance to win a game.
Here we go. Villa Leicester, Brentford versus Southampton, Man United Palace, Brighton Bournemouth, Wolves.
Why does Man United
Liverpool.
Palace scare me?
Palace are a difficult team. It's also a difficult game for me to
Wreck
watch.
your
because
accumulators.
My girls support Crystal Palace, so it's always a difficult game to watch.
It shouldn't be
it's
this
not.
game. It's your team.
Yeah,
Don't
I know,
worry about
but-
your kids.
Even so, I find
You
it
pay the
difficult
bills.
to watch.
Yeah.
Wolves versus Liverpool, away game for Liverpool. How
Tough
do you see
game.
that going?
It's mid-table clash, isn't it?
Mid-table clash.
We
How
struggled.
funny it is listening to a Liverpool fan say that.
We struggled against them in the FA Cup.
You've struggled against everybody.
Other than Man City.
That's so good to see. Do you know what? I'm so delighted. This season's been bad for you guys.
And good for United, otherwise I wouldn't be able to give you a jip.
It's about time, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
taking
it
time.
It's taken a while.
Yeah. Can you get Ollie back?
But how do you think it'll go? Tough game? Do you think you
Tough
get away with a
game.
result?
Tough game.
Would you take a draw?
No.
You wouldn't?
I'd be disappointed.
Okay.
I think we've got to win. We've got to go out. I reckon Klopp go back to the old style, heavy metal football. Just go, go, go. And if you concede loads, hopefully you score loads.
There you go. Heard it from Dave. Klopp, just go.
But not leave us, please.
Newcastle versus West Ham. That's a good game now. That's quite interesting. That obviously I know Newcastle at the other end, but I just got a feeling about that game could be
West Ham just needed some wins. I never got 2 now on the bounce. That win last night against Derby.
Yep.
again.
Jared Bowen again scored, so that might do him a
I
favour.
think it was also potentially Newcastle playing midweek and then they've got to play
Yep.
again. They've got a good squad, but they haven't got a massive
depth there, yeah. No, absolutely. Forest Leeds on Sunday, that's a good game, and then Spurs Man City on Sunday as well.
Spurs always seem to perform against City.
Yeah, they do, to be fair. It'd be an
But
interesting
City
game.
were very lacklustre against them last time.
The first half, they were,
And then just destroyed them in the second half.
We talked a little bit about different transfers earlier on. Before we wrap it up, we haven't got too much more to go through. Obviously, we talked about Eriksen out for 3 months. So Manchester United are obviously in for Marcel Sabitzer, which come a little bit out of left field. Although they have said that they were looking at him to purchase him maybe in the summer. But I don't know whether that's a narrative they're trying to push or whether they were generally looking at him.
You can ask them if you want.
And also, apparently, Man United offer 4 other people. Isco, that guy that I can't pronounce his name. They would offer us four different players, all decent midfielders, but they've opted for Sabitzer. So it'll be interesting to see. Well, it looks like that's going to go through. The last announcement was that it was going to be a loan deal with no option to buy.
Can't see him buying, not in January.
No, that was part of the talk for the first of all. But yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a thing. Another big transfer that sort of caught the eye, a loan move. Obviously, that Cancelo at Man City has gone out on loan to Barcelona.
Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich, not Barcelona.
Began with
B. Interesting about that, though, obviously they've come out and said it's not because I've had a row with Pep, but obviously he's gone because he's had a row with Pep. Basically.
Well, yeah, well, look at how good was he last season?
But they're light in that position, which is why I'm so surprised. That's why it's got to be a row. They let Zinchenko go.
Yeah, they've let a lot of.
But Rico Lewis has been getting picked up in front of him anyway. So what's how long ago was this bust up? If it was a bust up,
I don't know. It's got to be a bust up. It's got to be.
But
get rid of it.
Has he let a lot of these players go, like Zinchenko, Jesus?
But they were saying today,
who do not listen to the way he wants to play. You know,
he's been there long enough though. Just say that
he might have changed. You know, people change.
Also, I think Pep's ruthless. I think he's a proper old school ruler.
Not the first time he's done this, is it?
A bit like Fergie. If you don't toe the line, you're out the door.
Yeah, that's it.
No one's bigger than the club.
And that's the way it should be. You know, the club is bigger than every player.
Yeah. So it's I say it's not because of a fallout, but he's obviously gone there because of a fallout. Sabitzer to United, as a Liverpool fan, what do you think about that?
Don't really know much about him, to be fair.
Okay, good. Right. I think that wraps it up. So
insightful.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
He's gone to Man United, apparently.
So that sort of wraps it up, I think, for this week. Don't forget to like, comment and share as always. Also, we're recording this evening, which comes out in about a week's time, our sister channel, SPADS Golf, with Miss Miyagi Sam Smith, the PGA golf professional.
All right.
So if you haven't already, then jump over to SPADS Golf as well and subscribe to that channel. There's lots of content in there. Obviously, we're not very good at golf, but Sam is, so he's got lots of tips for you to help. But gents, thank you very much. I think that wraps it up, and we'll catch you again next week.
Cheers, boys.
Thank you. Good night.